So for the first time ever, I want to admit that I was wrong, but I'm happy to be wrong about this. This is now the last Aventador to be made, and I before thought it was going to be the SVJ, but
I think I
stand
just had a
corrected.
small stroke. Did Tony say he was wrong about something?
Cut and continue.
They've built 10,000 of these things.
Yeah, which you don't see them that often.
Yeah, if you're manufacturing something and you've sold that many, and I know it's time, you got to change after a while, but the car is still super popular and it's still stylish. I still like the way that it looks. I still love the way that it sounds. It's not cheap. I mean, this thing is $500,000 to start.
Yeah.
And then it goes up from there. I do love that this has a removable hardtop.
Well, depending on which one you get.
Well, I'm not a convertible guy, but for some reason, the removable hardtop Lamborghinis, I like them.
Yeah, it's almost like a Target, or sorry, T-tops in a sense.
Yeah,
the way that they come off.
I don't remember if you remember the old Murcielagos, but
God.
and
look like a toupee. Yeah, some of the rappers would say.
They had that thing that was on there. I borrowed a guy's Murcielago and drove it for a few days, and it rained, and I had to figure out how to put that train wreck of a canvas thing on there. Like, really, I couldn't believe his expense. I called him up. I said, "Is there a hardtop that goes with this?" "No, that's all you get is that piece of crappy canvas."
Horrible.
And I just couldn't believe that was real.
Yeah.
And now they've got a removable hardtop, which is really good because it makes the car look stunning when the top is on. Whereas the Murcielagos, the roadster versions, you could never put that top
you
on
might
there.
as well just leave it
was
at home.
awful. It's like the Vipers when they put that funky top on the Vipers to try to make them look like the GTSs.
And that came afterwards, didn't it?
Yeah,
because the original RT10 didn't have that.
Yeah, so people sold those little tops on there. You're right, it looked like a
tonneau
toupee.
cover.
Yeah, it looked like a toupee.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't work at all.
So 350 coupes, 250 roadsters that'll have the removable top. And for our viewers out there that maybe haven't followed the entire Aventador history over the past 10 years, this is a cross between the Aventador SVJ and the Aventador S. So if you plus them together, you get the Ultima.
But the thing is that they really shouldn't call this, to me, the Ultima, because the SVJ exists.
But it takes time to be timeless.
I understand that, and I get their spiel
That's
on
their
there.
slogan.
But at the same time, everybody knows that the SVJ is my favorite car. I really, really love that car. But wow, I just got it now. It's not the ultimate track car. It's the ultimate combination of all of the stuff that they did during the version of it. Because this car, I could take the wife to dinner in. The SVJ, I couldn't do that. This car, the ultimate.
Me to dinner in it.
Well, we've already talked about this before, Tony. I'm not interested, but thanks for asking. But this car is stylish enough that it's a great dinner date car, and it's stunning, good looking
Still
enough
refined.
that you can go out with the boys and blast around the highway. So that's really what this is. It is the ultimate. It's the ultimate car. It's the ultimate compilation of the best stuff of everything that they've done.
Yeah, it really is. That's, that's what I see in it. I think that's why I give it such a hard time, is because to me it's nothing new. It's just that they took up the Aventador SVJ, carried on from the Aventador S, and now we have both of them combined in this. And it's more refined. You still have the creature comfort.
But it's a drivable version of the SVJ, and that's what I like. I mean, I like to get in a car and just drive around and do what the locals do. Like when I'm in LA, I like to get stuck in traffic and give people the finger. I like to just. But this car will let you do that.
Yeah.
Whereas the SVJ, if you're cruising around town in the SVJ, it kind of looks douchey. It really does. The SVJ is a car.
Don't let him fool you. Any of your SVJ owners out there, you can be my friend, and I will never call you douchey or douche or any combination of that term.
My neighbor has an SVJ, and I think it's just the most amazing car in the world. And he only drives it like once every other week, because if you drive it all the time, it's just like my Viper. I love the car, but you can't drive that every single day because you look like a douche. It's like having a green Mopar. We talked about that before. I love green Mopars, but you can't drive it every day because you're that guy in that big Skittle M&M thing. And this you could drive more often because it's a little bit toned down. It's not as ostentatious, so you can use it more, which is cool.
For his ostentatious neighbor, I still knock on his door all the time, and friendship is still pending on that. So, I don't know. I love that car. I think the SVJ is great. And actually, I had a question for you on this, because and all of our viewers comment below what you would choose. If money wasn't an object, purist, just see for the car for what it is, would you take the Aventador S, the SVJ, or the Ultimate? Without knowing the pricing of it or anything, you had all three in front of you and the perfect color combination that you wanted. Which one would you choose?
I'll take a drink.
You whiskey girl.
So Tony gives me an option. He wants me to choose between the S and the SVJ and the ULTIMAE. And before I discovered that this was a combination of all of the greatest aspects of this car, I would have absolutely taken the SVJ. But now I really think I would take the ULTIMAE, unless there's a Mansory version.
Oh Lord.
I don't know if you've ever seen any Mansory cars, but Mansory cars are like three-fingered prostate exams. I mean, they're just too much. I don't know how people like those cars. I don't get it at all.
They have a place in everybody's heart.
I know, and my neighbor has a Mansory Urus, and it was a great-looking car until they did it.
There's some things that are questionable.
Yeah, I don't know, but I tell you, if I was going to own an Aventador, I really do think that I would take this car. I think that this is probably the best one of all of them. I think that they aptly named it once I understood what they're all about.
Yeah.
It's got a positionable rear wing, runs in various positions. It's a high compression engine. It's almost 12 to 1 compression on this thing. It's 11.8 to 1 compression. And I don't know how they're getting away with that kind of a compression ratio on 93 octane fuel, but congratulations, Lamborghini. That's a really good piece of work. Bigger bore, shorter stroke. So that probably helps quite a bit. It's got that Graziano box.
Yeah.
Got a lot of active aero on
Develop
it.
the ISR shifting rods.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a double diffuser. Now, I don't know if you know anything about diffusers in the back, but yeah.
Oh, I do like it. Which came over from the Scion or Centenario. You can see the way it looks.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, back in 2009, my neighbor, Rubens Barrichello, he was racing with a Formula One team called Braun, and he said, "Oh, we're going to race this car in Braun, blah blah blah. It's going to be out and be the man." And I thought, wow, I mean, never even heard of the company before. It's Ross Braun, of course, but they had shown up with a car that had a double diffuser in the back. Had so much downforce, they just crushed everybody. They ran the whole series and just went out, and Jenson Button was his teammate, and Rubens was doing all the setup for the car, and they went out and won the championship. A nobody team, and they take out because of that double diffuser. And you had to design the car around implementing a double diffuser. You couldn't just add one to it.
Right.
So that's the thing with this car, is that they've got almost the same downforce as a SVJ
without all the
big crazy
aero
drag creating stuff. So it's got a killer top end. It's 221 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you what, if Lamborghini says something goes 221 miles an hour anymore, I'll bet it goes 223.
I was going to say it probably goes faster.
Yeah, I'll bet it goes
0 to
faster.
100 in 2.8.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's got almost a 9,000 RPM red line, 8,700 on a big V12, and 530 pounds of torque. This is a killer car.
Yeah, I really like this car. I mean, it's continuing on with Lamborghini and their heritage, and also with this, which you guys hear me say all the time. But along with this, one thing to keep in mind is that they keep reinforcing the fact that it's the last production naturally aspirated V12 from Lamborghini. Now, don't get scared. It doesn't mean they're never going to make a V12 again, but if you look at all their hybrid technology they've been doing in certain cars, like the Scion, for example, it's likely going to be a V12 with the hybrid or electric-assisted motors that are going to be coming. Possibly twin turbo, maybe a supercharger. Doubt it, but just something to keep in mind. So it's not the last V12 they're going to make. Chances are it's just going to be a hybrid version of some sort.
Do you hear an alarm going off? If you've ever ridden with Tony before, he drives like we have extra lives. And I mean, I, for some reason, get lucky enough that I always find accidents. They always happen, but Tony's never been in an accident. And
not true.
Well, so I thought everybody was dead.
Man.
Yeah, so I mean, when I get in wrecks, I really get in wrecks. Tony, he might rip a bumper off of something, but man, when I do
Which
something,
I still have.
I do it right, absolutely. A lot of these cars they build, I mean, they look faster than they really are, and I know it's marketing. I mean, you can't get the Virgin to the volcano if you tell her you're going to push her in.
I was like, where is he going with this?
But this car actually delivers. It's super fast. It doesn't look it, but it looks quick. It doesn't look SVJ quick, but it looks like it's going to be real similar in performance between the two.
Oh, it's got to be. And it's got more horsepower.
Absolutely. It's still got that same annoying single clutch box.
And it's the same annoying steering wheel.
What, you don't like the wheel?
No, it's horrible. It's been horrible since it came out.
What don't you like about the steering wheel?
I don't know. It looks like you just got a giant airbag in front of you and a tiny little Lamborghini symbol. Put some switches on there. Look at Ferrari. Look what Aston's doing.
Yeah, Ferrari does have a real attractive steering wheel, and they always have. Back in 2010, and we've talked about this before, something happened at Ferrari where they just really got everything right in their interiors. Because even you look back at the cars that are a dozen years old now, they're still in style. Anything 2010 and new is still in style, still current, still good looking. And I do love the Lamborghini angled dash layout that they have with all those fire switch buttons.
Yeah.
I do love that.
Yeah, that's great.
The new Corvette missed it when they did theirs because they did a version of it, and I mean it's
like 80 buttons on that.
Yeah, I mean absolutely. I would never take my side piece out in that because you're not going to get any road action whatsoever. I mean it's a big dividing board period with that car. Yeah. It's too much. Lamborghini got it just right.
Oh, did you also know that Multimatic is supplying the dampers for this, which they also did for the Valhalla?
And the Ford GT. Ooh. All right, it's time. I hear a squealing noise. I'm gonna get right to it on this car as far as styling goes because I still love the SVJ. It's my highest styling rating, my favorite car. This isn't still in styling quite as good as the SVJ. So the SVJ, you know, I gave it that 84-ish range. This to me is about a 77. So I mean, I think that that's good for this car. I think that will, it'll stay in its same era. It blends in with the rest of the mix. It's a good combination of stuff. I understand what they're doing with it, and I think that number is what it deserves.
You might hit me with this because you know how big of a Lamborghini fan I am. I actually gave it a 72 because I think the SVJ blows it out of the water. To me, it looks like an Aventador S with just a couple of different styling cues. Obviously, we're not talking about performance-wise or anything like that in the rear-wheel steering, but there's been so many additions of the Aventador that to me this just I mean,
I wish they would have given this a central spine, something big.
Yeah, but then you're going SVJ, you know.
In performance, you know it's not going to be as fast as the SVJ. It might make a wiggle more horsepower, but it's got a lot less downforce. They say that it's going to be around 1,500 pounds, which is a really big number. That's
without having like a standard wing on it.
But it's still not as much downforce, and it's real similar in power. So it's going to be a little less in performance overall to me. So I gave it in performance a 77. So it's square, which is a great number when you're square. When you're on both of them, so that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like right there, 77 as far as performance wise because it's a Aventador SVJ with 10 more horsepower. I think their marketing thing on this is right. They said this is the ultimate version of the Aventador for someone to use, own, drive. Yes. And I think that's exactly once I bought it as that, I said, okay, great, because now I was a big SVJ guy, but honestly, I think I would take this Ultimate over the SVJ because I do want to drive it a lot, and I can't with the SVJ because it's a Sunday car. Whereas this I could drive multiple times a week. I would daily an SVJ. I'm going to give him a toast. What are you doing? I don't want to give it a toast. Okay. I like the SVJ more. Congratulations, Lamborghini. From me, you got a toast. Well, thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. And you know what they say, if you have an opinion that's different than ours, keep it to yourself.